If you're like me, you probably have a lot of unfinished Reason song files saved in your computer. Maybe you had an idea for a cool hook or chorus and quickly opened up a new song and recorded the part, figuring you would get back to it later. Or maybe you were working on an 8-bar loop for a while and felt stuck when it came time to transform it from a loop into a song. In this video, I'm going to show you some of the techniques that I have used to help me convert my ideas from a hook or a loop into a finished song. Before we get into the actual ways on how to expand these ideas into a song, let's cover some important basics. The first one is organization. Now I know it's probably the last thing you want to hear, but just like when your mother would tell you if you keep your room clean you will always be able to find your toys, the same applies to your music. When you are organized with your files, you will find that it's much easier to get back to work on a song or idea that you had put aside for a moment. I usually have a work in progress folder that I keep on my desktop, and in that folder I have some subfolders that are named for the kind of energy or feel of the tune. In those subfolders, I will have an audio exported version of the idea, so I can quickly listen to it without having to open up the Reason song file. This is especially handy if you want to quickly audition some ideas to a client or singer that you're working with. The second thing is to save everything. Ever find yourself working on an idea and after all the time you've spent on it, you're just not liking the results or you feel like it's going nowhere? Rather than closing the song or deleting it, save it. Put it in a folder marked Revisit Later or something along those lines. Don't listen to it or open it for a few months. Who knows, you might find out that after some time away and working on other songs, you open this song back up and are suddenly inspired. Or maybe there was just one part of the song, a bass line or drum loop or something else, and you find out it is the perfect part to add to another song you were working on. Or maybe the time away helps you get inspired to take the song in a totally different direction. Saving everything is one way to make sure that you never run out of ideas. Now let's look at some ways that you can take that idea or hook and craft it into a song arrangement. Before Reason 5, I used to copy all the tracks of a loop and paste and repeat them for as long as I thought I wanted the song to be. Then I would create the structure of the arrangement by looping sections and removing parts. As you can see, this was quite tedious and not very musically inspiring. But in Reason 5, we introduced a new sequencer function called blocks, and it makes the process of trying out different song arrangements much more fun, easy, and musical. Even if you are not using blocks to come up with the original song idea, and I'm guilty of this from time to time as well, you can easily copy the idea from song mode into a block. Just select all the parts and copy them. Then go into block edit mode, making sure that blocks is enabled, and paste the parts in. Now to experiment with different song arrangements. Going back into song edit mode, delete the clips of the parts, and draw in a clip on the blocks track at the top for 8 bars. Copy and repeat that clip a few times and use the mute tool to mute out some parts. Maybe we will start the song with just a beat and this bass part. A fun thing to do with block clips is to cut them and rearrange or repeat sections like you would do if it was a sample loop. Maybe do an 8th or 16th note repeat or stutter just before the phrase repeats. This technique works really well with audio tracks as well as MIDI. If you find that you really like the way a section sounded and wanted to convert that into a block, you can use the Convert Block Track to Song Clips function. Copy the section and paste it into a new block in the block edit mode. Then go back into the song edit mode, delete the clips that were converted, and now you can use the new block that you just created. The genre of music that you're producing is going to dictate the type of arrangement that you're aiming for. If you're creating a song that is strictly for the dance floor and meant to be played by DJs, the arrangement is going to have much longer intro and outro sections, and at least 2 long breakdown or build-up sections. You should also add some little flourishes like noise sweeps or rhythmic loops and sounds that happen just before each turn, every 8 or 16 bars. If it's a pop, rock, or hip-hop song, then you're probably going to be doing a fairly standard arrangement like this. Usually when I have an idea for a song, what I'm really hearing in my head is the chorus or hook, and that is most likely what I'll have saved as a loop. When you're doing this type of an arrangement, creating a verse section can sometimes be as simple as muting parts and stripping the song down to nothing more than just the bass and drums, maybe adding an additional part or sound that complements the vocal, but does not overtake it. Now, how could we make this standard arrangement more interesting? One thing we could do is add an intro. It could simply be a vamp or variation of the opening bars of the verse, or maybe the final 4 or 8 bars of the chorus. 4 bars of drums at the beginning of a song never fail either. Another idea is to try getting rid of the first chorus by sticking verse 1 and verse 2 together. Then after verse 3, double up on the chorus, drop the last verse down a bit, and make it a middle 8. Cutting the speed of the rhythm track in half or changing the chord voicing are good ways of doing this. Adding a middle 8 section is also a great way to set up the final chorus repetition. Using these tips and techniques should inspire you to turn those ideas and loops into complete songs and help you to finish what you've started.